So here in column A, we have a bunch of names, and we have to create a unique and sorted list of these names. So before we jump into any kind of solution, we have to really think about a couple of important things here. Is this a one-time task only, or do we need to create a dynamic solution, meaning that anytime a name changes, our solution should update automatically? And the other thing is, do we need to teach the solution to a coworker? If so, what is their skill level? So now we can start to consider these different solutions here. First of all, we should always consider the easiest solution, which is just a couple of seconds. If this is just a one-time thing, or if it's once a month and the person we're helping does not want a complicated solution, consider this. We go over here. Here is our list of names. We go up to Data, remove duplicates, click OK, and then we do one other thing, which is step 2 here. We go Data, and we sort, and we're done. That's it. We have a unique list, and it is sorted alphabetically. Now, if we want to get a little bit, so look back up here. Is it fully dynamic? No, but it's very low complexity and it can be repeated very, very quickly. So the next thing is this. We could actually use a pivot table. It's not fully dynamic, but it's almost fully dynamic and it's very low, very easy to do. So let's take a look here. We go over here, and one little added thing is, you know what? What if we add more names to this list? So I'm going to just insert a table here. I'm going to highlight one of the items in here. I'm going to say insert table, click OK, and now we've changed this into sort of a structured list, and that will come in handy because if we add names below later on, our pivot table would automatically pull those values in. So now we're going to say insert pivot table, existing worksheet. Let's put it right here in column D. Click OK. And then we have our field list. There's only one field, name list. We take it, we drop it into rows, and look at that. We are done. It puts a one value for all the values in here. If there's repeats, only one of them gets in here. And it's by default, it sorts it because this is text. So let's just remove the grand total so we don't have that word. And that's it, we're done. Very, very simple, very quick. Just all you have to do is to refresh it is click anywhere in here, right click, and refresh. So why not give this as an option? Because it's so simple and so easy to work with. Now, if it has to be a fully dynamic solution, then things get a little bit more complicated. Let's look at this array formula. Now, I did not create this, but there's several links. Here's one link here, and there's several other links where you can research this in a video as well to see how to do this with an array formula. Now, to me, this is a really cool formula, but there's so many things in here to explain that it would take a long time to explain this to someone, especially if they have very low skills. So let's consider something else. So that was this one here. That was the array formula solution. It's fully dynamic, but it's high complexity. I would say very high for most people. Now, non-array formula solution, fully dynamic, yes. Uh, Complexity is low to medium. The only reason why I'm saying medium is, as you'll see here, there's a bunch of different steps to solve this. They're all very easy steps, but let's take a look. So here we have our list of names over here. There's duplicates and they're not sorted. And the first step is simply to add a counter. You could just type in 1, 2, 3 and drag it down, or you could use the row function. The next step is just to use a match function. And so we're looking for the name in the list. Now, why would we do that? Well, here's the thing. Let's look at list here, and let's just highlight this area so we see what's happening, because this is a duplicate. So whenever we look for a name, it gives us the position number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the first time it's not a sequential number because we already find this name at the top. That's why it's giving us a 1. And this, if you look down here, there's another one down here. This last name, Bullen. We already see that name up here. That's why the 3 is not the same as our counter. So whenever step 2 is not equal to step 1, we don't want to include those because it means it's a repeat. So you look down here. These numbers are not the same as those. 7 not the same as 25, and 3 not the same as 26, because we have already seen these names above. So we don't want to include those. So let's go to our next step. This step simply says, hey, if it's the same, if these two numbers are the same, give me the counter. If not, give me a blank. So whenever we see a blank, it means we've already seen this name above. Next step, all we want to do here is basically take these numbers, put them over here without those blanks, without those gaps, right? So we want to just sort of dynamically get rid of these gaps and have those numbers over here. Now you notice these numbers are the same as the ones we have here, right? Just no gaps. So next step is this. Now we're just using the index function, and we're just pulling the names from our original list over here. So you see all of these steps. Yes, there's many steps, but they're all very simple. Most of them have only one function. Here, there's a couple of steps, but this is just a match. Here's a couple little steps to get the counter or leave a gap. Here, we're simply saying small of all the numbers in column H, using the counter again. And over here, it's just an index, very simple index. So this can be audited by someone, and we've also put the steps, displayed them across the top in order with a little description. So let's continue. See, now we have the unique items from that list, but obviously it's not sorted. So let's keep going here. Now step 6, we want to rank these. So we want to use the count if. We have to compare, in order to somehow sort this text dynamically, well, we have to compare each one with all the others. So really, this COUNTIF is saying, of all those guys in column J, how many are less than the current value, meaning how many are before it. So this 2 means that there's one name before this name. And we go down here and we see, so this name of Bovie is before, alphabetically before Bullen. That's where we get a 1. And there's nothing before this name. That is going to be the first name. When we finish here, we'll see this name first because there's a 1 here. And then because there's a 2 here, we'll see this name and then a 3 all the way down in our list. So let's go to the next step. We want to use now the match function to say, hey, I want to know where is the number 1. Where's number 1 in our list? Because watch, once again, I'm going to press the F2 key. I'm using this counter. Where do I find 1 in here? Well, it's all the way down there. That's why we see a 13. Where do we find the number 2? Well, it's 1, 2, 3. It's right there. So that's what this is doing. It's just looking for all of those numbers in there. And then finally, the last step, once again, we're just using a very simple index to say, hey, now I know where they are. Go back to our list here and just order them. So this is fully dynamic. If you change anything in the original list, it will be updated in here. So let me just go in here and let's see. This is a duplicate. I'm going to put my last name in here. And let's watch column N and see what happens. Everything here is going to adjust. So my name, is in between Kuzleika and Manliv, right in there, and it's alphabetically sorted. So this is a pretty neat way to do it. Sure, there's many steps, but you could teach this to almost anyone because each step as we go along is pretty simple. And we've got it all labeled and we've got a nice little description here. So let's go back again. I didn't cover a VBA solution, but you can just Google that and find something. But whenever trying to create a solution, just remember some of these key questions. Don't overcomplicate it. And lots of neat ways to do it.